What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Unless you've been living under a rock, you're probably aware that John Cena wrestled his final match in Washington, D.C. at Saturday night's main event against Gunther. Not only the match's result, but specifically the match's ending, has been drawing a lot of controversy from wrestling fans and non-wrestling fans alike. What was completely wild to me was that it seemed like every person who had been touched by John Cena's career, whether it was when they were a kid or recently, was tuning in to see his final match. Like, I'll be honest, in my friends group chat, I am known as the WWE nerd, and even all of them were tuning in to see this match, wondering what exactly had to happen to keep John Cena from retiring. But that brings me to what happened. Not only did John Cena lose to Gunther in what I believe to be a really great match, but Super Cena, the GOAT, the franchise, the 17-time world champion, Mr. Never Give Up, tapped out. I really couldn't believe it either. I kind of sat there dumbfounded for a bit. The guy who had always said never say die had only tapped out a few times very early on in his career. It felt like he was going against his very ethical code that had inspired me to persevere and always keep trying. Others felt similarly, I could tell. I got multiple texts about how messed up it was, about how Triple H was a monster for allowing it to happen, and that many people would even just stop watching wrestling at that point. As a huge John Cena fan, I drove 5.5 hours to meet the guy, ask him a question, and get a few autographs. I thought it would have been nice to have John Cena vanquish the big bad guy as he had done his entire career, but I am of the idea that John Cena simply would not allow that. Regarding him losing, I sincerely believe that John Cena has so much respect for the business that he wanted to respect the traditions that came with it. The last opponent had always been rumored to be Gunther for a long time, a guy who is not only an incredibly talented wrestler, but one of the most hated heels. I knew as soon as that rumor leaked that he would not likely win that final match. Sure, a nice celebration and big win would have been nice, but by putting Gunther over, he actually honors his personal code, which isn't just kayfabe, of loyalty and respect. Loyalty to the company and respect for the business as a whole, that he is not above it. Not only that, but Gunther is going to get some of the most serious heel heat ever, which makes for great TV and could potentially add to the aura that WWE has been looking for in him. I heard recently from Sean Ross Sapp at Fightful that Gunther had to be escorted from the arena by security because they were so afraid for his safety. Now, regarding him tapping out, part of me always felt that John Cena could choose to go out in any way he wanted. I thought that he would likely choose to lose, but why in the world would he choose to tap out? Look closely when Cena decides to tap out. The camera zooms in on his face and he smiles. Yes, John Cena realizes that throughout his 23-year career, he has given absolutely everything he had. His overwhelming, overarching goal as part of everything he has gone through was to leave the company better than he found it, to springboard WWE into something better after he leaves, and he accomplished that. There was nothing left to do, and absolutely everything throughout 23 years was given. Tapping out was his choice, and it wasn't done as a necessity. And to know that John Cena went out on his own terms the way that he wanted to is good enough for me, even though I might have liked him to leave triumphantly. And while I'm incredibly skeptical of Triple H's ridiculous comments that John Cena booked his own tour, which John has already denied publicly, I really do believe that the GOAT chose this way to end his in-ring career. John Cena didn't give up. He let go. I thought I would feel a lot more sad after last night than I did, but to me, I celebrated John Cena and his retirement tour in the best way I knew how. Being in St. Louis at Backlash when it felt like the entire crowd was against Cena, while I felt like the only one cheering for him, was a great experience. That match against Orton was an absolute banger. And then to meet him and have a 2 to 3 minute conversation at Fan Expo after he signed my belt, action figure, and rookie card, it was perfect. He was so kind and actually took the time to share a moment with me. And then I got to ask him a question at the Q&A panel later that day. Then I got to see him in what would be his final heel appearance, the contract signing with Cody Rhodes in San Antonio. I took in that moment from the floor with my brothers. I bought plenty of merch, probably too much, especially the socks. But I had to make this year special because I knew it would never happen again. And if you're only just now getting back into wrestling after seeing Cena's last match, I urge you to check out the rest of the tour. I think it went far better than some people might believe. In conclusion, I'm sure many people are disappointed in the finish and are wondering why the hero they looked up to tapped out in his last match. But perhaps it might offer some solace to know that he went out the way he wanted. The GOAT. That's all I have for today. And always remember, you don't know the power of the mark side. Peace.